A production of Flint Energies, your local touch-tone energy cooperative. Front Porch Chats brings you along while we share interesting events, places to go, important programs, and hidden gems located in Central and Southwest Georgia. Grab a glass of iced tea while we chat for a spell. I'm your host, Natalie Bradley. Today, I'm in the city of Buena Vista, Georgia. It looks like it should be pronounced Buena Vista, but here in Marion County in Southwest Georgia, it is pronounced Buena Vista. And if you don't say it right, we're going to know that you're not from these parts. Buena Vista, Georgia is located about 30 minutes from Columbus, and they have got a lot going on here. Today, I'm interviewing Jay Wells from the Marion County Development Authority for the first part of our podcast episode. And then during the second half, I'll be interviewing Cody Curington from the Marion County Chamber of Commerce. We had a little bit of an interesting situation getting our calendars to line up, so we are making it work with all these busy people who are working hard to make Buena Vista and Marion County a great place to live, work, and play. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Jay, let's start with, what do you do here in Buena Vista and what are you working on? Because I know that you do a lot of work to make this place special.
My name is Jay Wells and I'm a local attorney. I'm also chairman of the Marion County Development Authority. And in the capacity of the Development Authority, we're working on a number of projects, but one primary project we're working on right now is to develop the knowledge of our historical roads and trails, which include the federal road, which is becoming more prominent as we move to the 200th anniversary of Lafayette's journey through Georgia. And fortunately, what's now Marion County was a portion of what Lafayette came right through. And on March 30th of 1825, Lafayette ran into a rainstorm and stopped at Spain's Tavern or Spain's Stand. You'll see it several different ways in historical record, and spent some time with the local natives and dried off from the rainstorm before he finished his journey on what ultimately led to him crossing the Chattahoochee into Fort Mitchell.
That's really interesting. And that's a really big deal that we're going to be celebrating here next year.
Yes, it will. There's a committee called Lafayette 200 in the state of Georgia. There will be celebrations in Savannah, Augusta, Sparta, Milledgeville, Macon, Roberta at the Indian Agency. And then we are working on our location here in Marion County. And then he did spend the night between here and Fort Mitchell on what is now Fort Moore, but that's an area that's unavailable. So the celebration will jump from Spain's Tavern over to Fort Mitchell, but we're hoping to have an activity here. We're working with the Lafayette 200 committee, and we're excited about that. And that's getting right around the corner, March 30th, 2025.
That's really exciting, especially for our history buffs that like to travel and go check things out for themselves in person. And I think that it will be very interesting. I've already learned so much from you all and our friends in Roberta. So let's also talk about what y'all have been seeing happen here in Buena Vista over the past few years with the growth and interest in this area. What's been going on?
We have had a number of businesses open up, such as Cody's businesses. I'll say that plural. We've also had a number of people moving into our area from other states, particularly for Florida. And that area, you get some people from up north. We've even had people from Nevada and those areas moving in. And one of the things we find is they come to Buena Vista and they go, wow, what a pretty little town. And that's one of the things we have tried to do is make the little town on the hill prettier, so that it will be appealing. And one of those things we've done is we've worked with Flint Energies to create a mural that we like to think is a very unique mural and a reason in and of itself to come to Buena Vista.
Yes, it is beautiful. And it's different from all of our other murals, which makes it very special as well. So talk to us a little bit about what y'all have done to make it different, make it yours.
We wanted to have a concept that was a little more generic, but historical, but yet looking to the future too. So we decided to go with a longleaf forest theme because that's our history. You look at the forest, and the forest is what brought people here when the settlers first came here. The forest provided food, it provided, lumber for buildings, and that's never stopped. The forest has supported this area, and it will continue to do so in the future. But a lot of people don't understand what the longleaf forest and its ecosystem will look like. So we picked a time period. We picked the 30s, which was a fun period to work with, because it allowed us to touch on the turpentine industry and show a component of that. It allowed us to show some of the ecosystem, some of the plants, the animals. If you notice, there's no deer in the mural. That's because there were no deer in the area at the time. But we did, as a throwback to my grandfather, we put a couple of July foxhounds in the woods because so many of the hunters around here, that was what they did for recreation. They had their foxhounds and they were working their July hounds. So we put a couple of those in the mural just to have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
And it's really not just specific to Buena Vista or Marion County, but it serves this whole area to show what it looked like during the period. And to have a little more fun with it, we had what we joked 9 feet of dirt in front of the mural. So with the cooperation of, UGA and the gardens at the University of Georgia, we were able to get a design and some native plants. And we have now put a flower garden in front of the mural that we think is really cool and fun.
Yeah.
So it's a pollinator garden. And we're hoping that that's going to put us on the pollinator garden map.
Absolutely.
So the mural serves a twofold purpose. We're hoping to get on a map of murals to make people come see the murals, but then we're also hoping to be on the pollinator map to be on another reason to come look and see what we're doing. And the concept was that some of these same plants that you now see growing in front of the mural are in the mural to give it a little bit of a 3D look.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You can see it from the traffic light. And I think that makes people curious, like what's going on over here. It's real easy to get to. You can take a picture with it or a picture of it if you don't want to, do a selfie or a family picture. But I have noticed a lot of people do stop. And I've seen pictures being shared on Facebook or Instagram. And that's what we want.
Well, exactly. And what we ultimately want is I've seen people stop, they look at the mural, and while they're out, they walk around, and I've seen people take pictures of the mural, walk around the square, and go into Cody's business and hopefully, eat lunch or buy a coffee or something. So that is the whole purpose, is to make people stop when normally they would just go through the red light and not think twice. But we want to make them think, and we want to make them stop and ultimately spend money.
Y'all are positioned in such a perfect place because this is a main highway where people are actually, you've got a few main highways where people are coming through Columbus. Maybe they're going to Americus, they're going towards Ellaville, depending on what directions they're going to. So I feel like y'all have a really good crossroads, I guess, where people can converge and stop along the way instead of just trying to get to that destination without, enjoying the views and shops and businesses along the way. And y'all are doing a good job of pulling people off the highway, I feel like.
Well, you have to try.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just try to make things a little better. And, you work with the buildings. We're very fortunate. We have a large number of buildings that are still here from between 1890 and 1920 that allow us to have a little architectural component to it. And we've tried to paint some of the buildings to show the architecture a little better, to have it just to make it a little prettier, add a little color. And anything you can do to make things, as I said, the town a little prettier and just make people stop.
Yes. And it is a very pretty downtown and square where you can really, look all the way around and enjoy history as well as, modern elements. And y'all are working on design to keep that going and keep working on the streetscapes and the square downtown and improving.
Right. There is a streetscape plan currently being implemented.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $2 million grant that the city is working with. And one of the objectives is to move some of the power lines away from the square, which will allow us to have, more opportunities to work with some of the buildings to make the sidewalks prettier,
Mm-hmm.
to make the streets a little more pedestrian friendly.
Yes.
And I think all of those things are just going to make things even better as we go forward.
Absolutely. I mean, y'all are putting in a lot of that hard work. And, when I worked in, small town, downtown development, it was very eye-opening how expensive everything is that you're trying to do to beautify and modernize. And, we would hear people talk about, well, why don't you just move the power lines? Well, it's going to cost about $500,000. So that's why you don't just move it, because you got to figure out where that money is going to come from.
Right. And you always have to think long plan. You have to be thinking the long game. If you come into these towns like Buena Vista and you're looking to play the short game, you're looking for quick returns, a quick change, you're going to find yourself disappointed. You've really got to have a long-term thought process in order to have some goals and to have success.
A lot of people have been calling it for a few years now, this rural revival that we're experiencing. It doesn't seem to be slowing down. If anything, it feels like it might even be picking up a little bit. What do you think that that's about? Like, what do you think is appealing to these people that are coming from Florida, from Nevada? Why are they coming to these rural areas?
To me, the word is space. You've always heard that in real estate, the most important word is location. Well, you can expand that now to add the component of space. And people want space.
Yes.
They want the ability to not be on top of people. They want the ability to, have a little space. And we have space. People can, even though people now are like, I can't believe the prices around here. If you look nationally, they're still not very expensive.
No, yes.
People now have the ability to go to any one of their preferred methods, be it land.com, Zillow, whatever, and look at a number of locations within just minutes, either their phone, their computer. So then they do a comparison and they go, Marion County, Georgia. Wow, look what I can buy with my buying power.
Right.
And then they come and they're like, this is actually a pretty little town.
Yes.
Next thing you know, they bought a place. And be that they were planning to retire here, be that they're ready to retire, we're seeing it all. And with them comes a buying power that we haven't seen really in quite a while. And so it's helping the businesses like the Diamond Store, like the coffee club, with this additional buying power that we haven't had. But to continue to keep that moving forward, we've got to continue to move forward.
Yes.
Such as the $2 million grant to make the town even prettier. And we need more businesses, but we've got to take a slow process with the business and have them understand what it takes to successfully run a business and turn a dream/concept into success.
Yes.
And we're fortunate in that we've had a tremendous amount of support from UGA and the Carl Vinson Institute, from Flint Energies. We have just had a large number of entities that are supporting us. I was like, with the Development Authority, we've got a project we're working on in the north part of the county. And without the UGA Carl Vinson assets, we don't have the money to do the things that they are bringing forward for us and making some opportunities. One in particular, I'm almost to the point where I can disclose, but I'm not quite able to. But without UGA Carl Vinson and some funds from Flint Energies, we would not be able to make it happen.
I've been able to sit through the presentations that University of Georgia came down and did, and to see the plans for downtown, and it's really exciting. And to see the community get excited about it and rally behind it. But I will say that you guys need a big pat on the back, because what you're doing that a lot of our other small towns haven't quite embraced yet, and I'm hoping that they will because they're watching you, is that time that y'all have taken to plan and not rush through everything, and to really be thoughtful about your approach and the next steps, and not just throw things against the wall and hope that they stick. And that's when you see University of Georgia and these other institutions, they invest in those towns that they see they are approaching it from the right way. So I just think that y'all are a great example. And so people have their eyes on y'all, and it's just going to help with your economic development as well. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, that's our philosophy. We just, again, repeat myself, take it slow.
Yeah.
And take advantage of the opportunities. And that's one of the things that when I realized that UGA was reaching out to us, we reinvented the development authority. We did what we needed to do to, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, take full advantage of the opportunities that were out there that wanted to help us.
Yes.
And, never be ashamed to ask for help.
That's right. What the worst thing that they can say is no.
That's it.
But thank you for taking the time to sit and talk with me.
Sure.
and educate our listeners. And, we want to encourage people to stop by and enjoy what Buena Vista has to offer.
Yeah. Come to Buena Vista. That's right.
Buena Vista. That's right. I love it. Well, we will hopefully have some more stories to share next year.
Yes.
And talk a little bit more about Lafayette. And
yeah, absolutely.
Projects
There we go. Yeah,
so
that'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Today, I am also here with Cody Currington, and we are actually inside of the coffee club recording this portion of today's podcast. So if you hear a little bit of background noise, that's just people enjoying their coffee and a little bite to eat and having a little fellowship time with one another. So you'll get a little bit of the ambiance of Buena Vista inside of this sweet little shop while we're here. And I'm going to let Cody introduce himself and let you know about what he does for this awesome town.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Natalie. I appreciate everything that you have done for our community and worked with Plant Energies with our community and all. You guys have been a big part of us. But my name is Cody Currington. I am from Buena Vista. I graduated high school here in 2015 and then went to college. And now I'm here full time. I'm a local business owner. I own 2 places here. The Dime Store, which has been a place that has been open for 46 plus years. And then we recently, about 3 years ago, we took over the ownership of Coffee Club. Coffee Club and the Dime Store are, right here on the downtown square. But as being a business owner here, I've been involved with a lot of businesses and working with other business owners. And that kind of spurred my interest in the chamber, And so I ended up becoming, I started out as an intern with the chamber back, years ago, probably around 2016, 17. And then after that, in the last year and a half, I've been the interim chamber president to kind of help rebuild the chamber and work on promoting all these local businesses and work with them to bring more here. There's a lot to offer here in Buena Vista. The Dime Store, like I said, has been here for 40 plus years, and it is your general gift merchandise, floral store, sells a little bit of everything. And then, you just kind of go around the square. You talk about some of the other local businesses that we have here. One of the things that I hear from a lot of people that come and visit Buena Vista is that they love to come spend the day in Buena Vista. They can come shop, especially during the holidays. They can come shop at the different local shops. They can have lunch. If they want to do a tour of the distillery, there's just so much to offer. So, some of the shops around the square, besides the Dime Store, another business that's been here for 60 plus years is Wells and Welch Department Store. Wells and Welch is it's like your Western store, boots, but they also have like women's clothing and all. And during the holidays, that place is very busy. And you hear people that come from all over to shop at Wells and Welch to get boots and things because their prices are so much better than some of these big like Boot Barn and all these other places, And then, they stop and they have lunch at Coffee Club. They have lunch at Annie D's. Annie D's is our local home cooking restaurant. Or the pizza place. I mean, there's just so many different options. And that's one thing that people talk about all the time about Buena Vista. They talk about the restaurants that we have to offer. And the variety of restaurants.
It's a nice variety for such a tiny community. Yeah.
And it's all kind of centrally located right here on the town square. Everyone always asks, they're like, well, where's the Coffee Club in comparison to the Dime Store? I'm like, well, If you didn't see the courthouse, you would see the building. It's
Right.
directly across the square. One of the things that the chamber is wanting to work towards is to have more meetings again and being able to bring the community and these business owners together where we can help continue to plan events for the community. One event that has happened for years here, and we've just recently brought it back, the chamber did, is the Rural America Festival. I'm sure if there's someone listening to this that knows the area, they probably have heard of Rural America.
I vaguely remember.
Yeah. Rural America has been going on. I mean, it's all of my life, and it's usually in the fall.
Mhm.
But it's been going on. I think that they date it back to the 60s is how
Oh,
it's
wow.
been going on. Yeah. It was an event. It was like a fall festival kind of event that was held normally in November, October.
Okay.
And it kind of was like the kickoff to Christmas.
Okay.
Like always. You
Yeah.
know, it was like you could do Christmas shopping, but you could visit the local businesses around the square. One of the things about it is with COVID, of course, it kind of went down and we have not had it in many years. And so as an interim chamber president, I really wanted to bring back Rural America,
Yeah.
not only for the community, but for these business owners.
Mhm.
Because the amount of people that come into town
Oh, yeah.
for events like this, I mean, it makes it for like huge days for some of these
Absolutely.
businesses, you know?
Yes.
I mean, like just as a business owner, coffee club, when we had Rural America this past year, it was our biggest day ever. that we've ever
Wow.
had.
Wow.
I mean, it was just that busy.
Well, and then they get maybe familiar with you if they've never
Exactly.
been here, and they'll
Yep.
come back.
Yep. And even being busy and, might take a little longer, everyone was so like, they understood. because
Right.
They saw how busy the community was. And they're like, we'll come back, another day,
Mhm.
even if they just came in at coffee, they decided maybe we'll bring back a group and have lunch
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah. Well, and it's such a charming community that, and I'm not the only one that does this, but I'm gonna say
Right.
what I do, but I will go this route to get to Columbus, even though there are 2 other routes that I can take, because I want to be able to stop by and have lunch or breakfast, whatever time of day it is, and be able to shop. And I've
Right.
purchased things for my daughter and myself at the cute boutique next door at Hall & Co.
Yep.
and go into the dime store, and I've purchased gifts for people, Christmas, birthdays, you name it. But what's really cool is you come here a couple times, people remember you.
Exactly.
They don't know why they remember me, but they'll be like, "Hey, how are
Yeah.
you?" You know?
Yeah.
And
It's like when you ordered the journal today, I was like, that
Exactly.
is so Natalie's
Yeah,
jam.
it's my favorite. I have a thing about raspberry and mocha. So, and Starbucks does not have raspberry anymore.
No.
So thank you for keeping that for people like me. So that's fantastic. So when is that going to be
So it is the first weekend in November.
Okay.
And we had changed it. It originally was kind of in October.
Mhm.
We kind of changed it to the first weekend in November just because it's a little cooler.
Yeah.
And also on people's mind, they're more thinking Christmas. way
Yes.
back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you do in October, they're not always thinking Christmas.
It can
You
be tricky. Yeah.
can. And so
And
you want-
hot sometimes.
Exactly.
too.
and you want these business owners like these that are coming to set up at your event, you want them to be successful so they
Mhm.
come back.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
this past year it rained the entire morning and then it was freezing. But do you know that we had so many people still show up?
That's fantastic.
I mean, people were so ready to get out and enjoy the
Yeah.
festival again.
Yeah.
I mean, they really were.
And in some ways, it makes you feel even more festive
Exactly.
because
yeah.
it's got that cold
Because
dip in
it's
there.
cold. Exactly.
And we don't get that a whole lot.
No,
So,
not at all.
what do you think that it is about Buena Vista? This spark has started, but it's staying and it's
Yeah.
growing. And what do you think it is about this little community?
Being from here, I of course love the community just
Mhm.
because I'm from here and I've grown up here. I honestly think that there's so many people that are moving here or visiting here because they love the community feel of Buena Vista.
Yeah.
We have a great city and a great county that are doing a lot of things to help better our communities. And it really shows. But you also have business owners like the Wells and us and some of the others that are really putting forth the effort
Yes.
to improve their buildings
Mhm.
and improve the square and make it a more inviting place.
Yes.
People come and they just enjoy Buena Vista, the distillery here, and that brings in a lot of people that would probably never come to this area. And then they have lunch in town or whatever. We have, of course, so many people from Florida that visit this area.
Mm-hmm.
And some have even moved up here. I mean, it's just they're loving it. I have one of my favorite customers that comes in now that has bought property here. And I said the other day, "Are you ready to go home?" And she's like, "No." She's like, this is what I want to be home." She's like, "I just love it up here."
That's great.
She's like, just the community feel. We do different classes here at Coffee Club, from like a cookie decorating class to a wreath decorating class or whatever. She attended one of those because she wants to meet more people in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really feel like it's the community aspect of Buena Vista that makes more people want to come here.
Yes.
And you have business owners that care. And so when you come in, you feel appreciated, you want to come back to that place.
Absolutely.
I really feel like that's
I don't understand places when you go in and it almost feels like a bother that you're
that you're there.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I'm like, wow, I'm giving you money.
Yeah, exactly.
Could you at least smile?
Yes.
But you never feel that way here.
Yes.
No matter what shop I've walked into.
Right. They welcome you.
Yes.
They're willing to help you, and I think that even stems back for a long time because, some of these businesses have been here for so long. As an example, the dime store, I worked there before buying the shop, and I worked under the previous owner, and that's how she was.
Yeah.
She had been there for so many years and had a huge respect for so many people because she welcomed any and everybody. And she just, she appreciated you coming in. She always had this saying, big or small, we need them all.
Yeah.
The transaction size. So if you came in and spent $1, she was just as appreciated if you came in and spent $300,
Yeah.
And that's who I learned from.
Yeah. And that made a big difference in your life. Yeah.
Yes,
you can definitely feel that. So, and there's, like you said, you did, your internship and then having the job. And I mean, honestly, that's how I got my start.
Really?
Before I went into event planning is, learning by modeling others. And that does a lot for our kids and impacts us for the future. And there's some sort of secret sauce or whatever that's happening here because like the kids that we have from Marion County that are in the Empower program last year, and then the ones that you interviewed with me, for next year, they're just great kids.
They are.
They have great work.
I was so impressed when we had those interviews. I really was.
Me too. And, and I've had people that have looked at their applications that they haven't met them and they're amazed. The heavy hitters is what they've called them, from our small towns. And I'm like, our small towns have a lot to offer.
They do.
You don't have to be from a big pond to make a big impact. And I think that these kids are learning from the adults that, they're modeling and they're learning with. So I appreciate that a lot. So y'all keep paying that forward. And these kids they're soaking it up and they're awesome. I enjoy being with them. So is there anything else about Buena Vista that you want people to know that we haven't touched on?
Not only do we have some great local businesses and a good community, our school system is top notch.
It's really wonderful.
I mean, we have, of course, and I have to say I am from here and I graduated from the school system, so I am a little biased, but some of the teachers that I have, I don't think I would be where I am today without some of the teachers and the education that I had in our school system. Our facilities are some of the best in the area.
Yes.
And I mean, the leadership in the community is just really good. The school system goes a long way for a community. And a lot of people, my entire life, have always moved to Buena Vista because of our school system.
Oh, wow.
Because we have such a good school. Our graduation rate has always been very high. We've had kids that have went to very high schools, from Yale, Harvard, things like that, from our small community. And what really sets them apart from all the other kids throughout the whole United States is that they came from Buena Vista.
Yeah.
A small town. Just an example, Miss Dawn that used to own the dime store, her son Jake, he graduated here and then he went on to Harvard and graduated from Harvard. But when he was filling out his application that set him apart from all the other students, of course he had great grades and all that, but what set him apart was him talking about his childhood and working at the dime store.
Oh, wow.
In Buena Vista.
Yes.
That set him apart from so many other applicants.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It is. I think that the school system and the leadership that the school system has had a big impact on our community to be where it is today.
Yeah, you can tell with them. I mean, everybody that I've interacted with, the leadership at the school, counselor, Miss Jernigan, all those people, it's not just a paycheck for them, and that's the difference.
No. And that's the benefit of a lot of them being local too, and growing up here and loving the community as much as any of us do because we're from here and we want it to succeed.
Yeah, they have a vested interest in the future.
They do.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the highest paying job that you could get somewhere else, they love this area and they love their school. And it shows.
Yes.
I remember Ricky McCorkle as a kid, like me as a kid. Mr. Ricky was our superintendent. And and how much I enjoyed seeing him come down the hallways of LK Malls, shaking our hands, hugging us and all.
Yeah.
And you don't see that. The superintendent walking into elementary school and interacting with kids. I mean, it's amazing to see.
Yeah. And he's still the same today.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
Yeah. I love him. If people want to find out more about like the events and happenings that are going on in Buena Vista, do you have a Facebook page?
We do.
Or anything?
Yes.
Okay.
So of course, lots of the local businesses have Facebook pages. So, from the dime store to Hall & Co. to Wells and Welch department store, Coffee Club, we all have social media pages, and just look up those businesses. But there is also a Marion County Chamber of Commerce Facebook page.
Perfect.
So events, or if a business is doing a special or whatever, we try to always share those things on the chamber page.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to put that in the show notes so that you could just click through, make sure that you follow so that you know what's going on in Buena Vista. So thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to, to talk about this. And we hope that you'll stop and you'll enjoy Buena Vista, take a picture with the mural, go shop and get you the journal or any other beverage of your choice and a nice little bite to eat. The food here is always fabulous. So I've never had anything here that I did not like.
Well, good. That's
it. Thank you so much. And we will see you in Marion County. If you enjoyed today's podcast, we need your help. Please give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this podcast. It really does help us get this information out to more people about what's going on in Central and Southwest Georgia. Also, share this podcast on social media with your friends and family because it helps get more eyes and ears on what we have going on in our fabulous communities.